So the essential question, how do we solve equations involving rational numbers? All right, you've got this word problem already written down in your notes. I want you to take some time, read, and underline important stuff. I'm just going to use X. We're going to let X be whatever our next test score is. So, number of test score. And I should say next test score, because it's not just any, it's the next one. This word is a math word. It sort of tells us how to do stuff. Anybody know how to take an average? We're going to add, so add your numbers together. And I'm going to say numbers of test scores. So, or add the number of the test scores, divide by number of tests, and that's going to equal your test average. So relating is putting it into words. So adding the test scores, and then divide by however many tests we have, and right now we have 3. And that's going to equal the test average, and we're wanting an A. Here at Redbud, you get an A to have a 90. So we're going to put a 90 there. So we're ready to solve. Anytime we solve, we're trying to undo what we see. So multiply both sides by 3. So we get 103. So as of right now, we need 103% on the next test in order to get an A. Yeah, it's impossible. If we don't have extra credit, then we can't get 103%. Impossible. Imposible. Oh, Dios mío. All right, impossible. Let's go to the next one. So, define our variable about how many gallons does the tank hold. So, X is going to equal number of gallons. This one's a lot more clear because we got it in our question. And then we're going to add in 3/4. We filled it in. Oh, wait a second. We filled in the tank when it was about 3/4 empty. Yeah. So then we add in 3/4 of a tank times number of gallons. Now we're going to put in the variables and the numbers. All right. So half of the number of gallons in the tank plus 3/4 of the gallons in the tank. That should equal the total number of gallons. After getting a common denominator, looks like we have 5/4 X equaling 18.5. We've got some options here. We could either turn everything into decimals, use our calculator, or we could turn everything improper, meaning this guy, from a mixed number to improper, and then try to figure out a way to get that X by itself. And that's the route I'm going to take, improper. To change 18.5 into improper, 2 times 18 plus 1, we're looking at 37/2 there. Now, this is the point of what I want us to get to. If I'm dealing with rational numbers, this last step, I've got a couple options. I'm just going to talk about them. I could multiply both sides by 4 to undo the division and then divide by 5. Or I could do it all in one step by multiplying by reciprocal. So let's take both sides and multiply by the reciprocal of 5/4. Because the essential question today is, how do we solve equations with rational numbers? This is what I want to see. I want to see us multiply both sides by the reciprocal. I'm going to take 37 times 2, divide it by 5. After I get my answer, I've got to make sense of it. It's asking about gallons. We never say, oh, I got 74/5 of a gallon, or gallons in my tank. So now let's put it back to a mixed number. So making sense of it, we have 14 4/5 gallon in the tank. No words, just practice. Figure out how to solve that equation. A possible first step, not saying it's the only way, but a possible first step is to get rid of negative first. So now we have positive n divided by 8 equals a negative 6. That might be a little bit easier to go from. Negative 48. Move on to the next. In the next one, we're going to multiply both sides by 3 first. So if you've attempted, great. But we're going to multiply both sides by 3. Then we're going to subtract 4. Last step, divide by 6. It's going to be gross. So I had some good questions. Do we write it as a decimal? Yeah, negative 7.6. I think that's repeating. Put a bar over that 6.
How is 7 at the end of it?
Let's just put this in round.
So negative 7.6 repeating, or negative 23/3, or whatever the mixed number is with that. Let's go to the next. If you haven't done it already, let's do it now. I could have done this in 2 steps, taking care of the negative maybe first and then doing the reciprocal, or I could do it all in one step. Either way,